All right, so I got a question for you. What would you be doing if the thing that you really wanted to do, you couldn't fail at? In other words, if you had the superpower of not being able to fail, what would you be doing today if you knew that you could not fail? Failing wasn't an option to you. Guys, I'm going to break down some principles that's going to show you that you can do whatever it is that you set your heart on. They're just a few, it's just some things you just don't know. That's why you haven't accomplished it. We all are just some information away from being able to be delivered. And then from there, you've got to get into the next stratosphere, which is actually researching and doing that thing that will bring about the manifestation of it. But we're going to start off with just the basics. All right. So let's get right into it. What I want you to understand is that you have been created with a special power, right? You've been created with a special superpower, if you will, and you can carry out the thing that you set out to carry out. I remember driving downtown as a younger man, um, and I'm in my 20s, just discovering life, you know, getting grown, you know, and I'm sitting back riding downtown Houston, and I'm looking at these big old skyscrapers, 40 stories, 50 stories. We've got some buildings that's, 60 stories. And I remember looking at those buildings and I'm like, wow, that was one man or a group of people, and they coerced everybody that could make this dream a reality. And here it is, I'm driving in the shadows of the building that's towering up to the sky. One man or a small group of people, probably 5 to 8 people at best, came up with an idea. And now we're sitting back and we're conducting business. We're marveling at the beauty of this building. And then I began to just continue driving downtown and thinking even more. And I'm looking at other skyscrapers. I'm looking at parks. I'm looking at apartment buildings, condo buildings. I'm looking at banks. I'm looking at Fortune 500 companies occupying space in an idea that one man had. And I just thought to myself then, I said, man, I can create anything there is that I want to create. I just got to learn how to do it. I just got to learn how to create. So the first step is that, and I know this sounds corny, but the first step is that you have to believe. You simply have to believe that it can happen. There's a book, and I love this book. It came out in 1925. It's been remastered a few times, but it's still true today as it was back when it was first published in 1925. And the name of the book is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. That's a really key book. See, the first thing you have to understand is that life is not a battle, it's a game. And so a lot of people, you hear people say things like, oh, if it's not one thing, it's another. This thing called life is hard. It's not hard, it's challenging because that's what a game is. And once you learn how to play the game, then you can be whatever you want to be in life because now you know the rules of the game. And so I'm going to give you the rules of the game. All right. The first thing is that you have to believe. Now, I'm not talking about the regular elementary way of believing. You believe that when you go and sit down in the chair that you're sitting down in, that the legs of the chair is not going to give out. It's going to be able to hold your weight or hold you, right? I'm not talking about that belief. That's the basic belief. We learned that already. What I'm talking about is believing to the point where you feel like you actually have what it is that you want, or you're getting to the point where you're living that life. I'll give you an example. I remember when I had a cash car, and I mean, I had it clean. There was a dent in the side of my car. Somebody hit me in the parking lot, didn't leave their name and number, so I didn't have any money to fix the dent. But I made sure my car was clean. It was clean with a dent in it. Some of you out there know what I'm talking about. And I remember pulling next to people in Mercedes Benzes and Jaguars, Lexus, and I'm looking at them, and I'm in my little Mitsubishi Galant, and I'm looking at them next to me, and I'm like, I'm happy for them. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait till I get a car like that. Matter of fact, I don't want that one, but I want one like that, but I want it in this color, and I want it like that, and I'm gonna have this in it. I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna be listening to this type of music. It wasn't long thereafter that I was actually living that lifestyle. The first car that I ever bought off a lot, oh man, it was it was a Yukon Denali, and I had a chance to get an Escalade. It was the same engine and everything, but I liked how the Denali looked, and a lot of people had the Escalade at the time, so I got the Denali. It was white. I had the big 22-inch rims. That was the biggest rims back then. I had TVs. What, three screens? I mean, I was living the life. And then I bought a Jaguar after that. And this all happened within like 2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5, almost 3 years. And I had that. Why? Because I believed, but I believed on the level that intensified and activated every fiber of my being. But what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is when I when I believed that I could have these things, I didn't just believe it on a basic level. I actually felt it in my spirit. I felt what it would feel like to have a brand new car with a brand new AC blowing at me because the car I was in, the AC was barely working, right? I felt, I heard, and I felt the vibration of the new Bose system that that particular truck came with. I remember feeling like I was like going 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, when in reality my car couldn't go 0 to 60 in probably took about 9 or 10 seconds, and I probably wouldn't even try it because I probably would mess the car up by trying to go so fast, so quickly. But the point of it is that I believed on that level, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. The second thing is that I imagined, it kind of go hand in hand with the belief, but I imagined what it would be like when I had it. But what that did was that made me make room in my garage for the vehicle. In the old church, they say your gifts will make room for you. And I love that because you have to see things that are not as though they are. I'm gonna say that again. You have to see things that are not as though they are. Not because you're faking it till you make it, but you're doing this game of visualization. So you have to be able to visualize what it is you want. And through that belief and that visualization, guys, what it does is it starts to activate the universe. The universe will conspire on your behalf, meaning that the universe will start doing acts of conspiracy. In order to get the truck that I wanted, the vehicle that I wanted, I actually had to get good credit. I actually had to maintain the credit that I had. I actually had to make sure that I didn't put boxes and treadmills or Christmas trees or anything like that on the other side of my garage because I needed to make space for the gift, right? I needed to make room for the gift that I was getting ready to receive. I needed to be able to have a little bit extra cash flow, extra money in my bank account because I was moving from a Mitsubishi Galant, which was 6 cylinder, to an 8 cylinder with overdrive vehicle. And so the universe conspired on my behalf to bring me extra money and for me to hold on to it. Then it was a car note. My first car note was $732. And then the insurance was even more because I was young. I was like 25 years old. So the insurance was high. So I was paying about $1,000 a month. When at first I told you I had a cash car. So the universe had to conspire with me. It had to have me grab a real estate license. I had to be able to learn a new skill in order to bring in extra money to be able to afford to put out $1,000 a month on this truck. And then gas prices went up a year after I had the car. The universe conspired on my behalf to make sure I had enough money to pay for the gas. The gas in my Mitsubishi Galant cost me probably about $27 to $30 to fill up. It was about $65 to fill up the truck that I got. So the universe will conspire on your behalf when you feel the outcome that is not here, but is in the near future. When you feel it with every fiber of your being, the universe will go before you. See, I get a little preachy because I remember in the old church, they used to say, God will go before you and make your crooked places straight. See, I got this from Myron Golden. Shout out to Myron Golden for giving me this topic. Um, and also, I love when Myron Golden says that the universe is God's automation tools, which means that things are automatic for God. He put the universe in place. If you learn a thing, believe it, learn about it, believe it, picture yourself there, do the actionable steps and make room for the gift to be able to be received, then guess what the universe has to do? It has to give it to you. Why? Because God has already put it in place for you. So I wanted this video to be real short. Maybe I'll do a part two, a part three, or something like that about it. Part two and three, maybe. Well, I think about it. But definitely, I want you to understand these concepts and these principles that I just spoke on. So go be great. Make you a list. This is your homework. Make you a list of the things that the top three, just three things, because I want you to focus on those things. So I don't want a whole bunch of things on the list. Your top three things that you would be doing if you knew you couldn't fail. One should be money driven, career driven. The other one should be family oriented. And then the other one should be self love. So I'm going to give you an example. You can say, okay, I'm going to make $150,000 a year. That's my financial goal. If I knew I couldn't fail, I would be making $150,000 a year. And then I also will be spending more time with my family and I'll take them on a vacation every year. Okay? If I knew I couldn't fail at this goal of making $150,000 a year, I would take them on a road trip, 4, 5, 6 hours up the street, right? Up the highway. And then also, I would get regular massages once a month or once every other month. Those are the things like I want you to do your homework and you make a list of your top three. And even share the list in the comments below. All right, guys. Well, I'm out and I want you guys to be great. I'll see you guys at the top.